This meeting is being recorded.
Hey guys, long time no see. Welcome to Table Talk. I'm so excited because I have two of our students with us today, Lisa and Nikkii, and they've both recently passed their Strong First Level 1 certification. Super proud of them. And we're going to go a little bit into their backgrounds today and learn some more about them. So I'm going to start with Lisa. And Lisa, I just want you to tell us a little bit about your background. You're a coach as well, so kind of how you got into fitness and kind of what you're doing today.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I have actually been doing training and group fitness for about 30 years, even though I'm only 29, but somehow 30 years has worked. I started out as a group fitness instructor, and I loved it, and it's awesome. And then I kind of segued into personal training, and I really, really enjoy that because it's great to be able to work one-on-one with people. And then I got into fascial stretching, and I do a lot of that with people. And the kettlebells have always been part of my training that I love, but I really wanted to expand it and get more into it and learn more of the technique and to be part of Strong First. So that's when I decided to go for the Strong First. So I loved it. It was great.
And in your kind of earlier career, you did some bodybuilding shows. Was that correct?
I did. I'd say probably 7 or 8 of them, maybe.
Wow.
And it was pretty cool. I had a couple of first place, a couple of last place, and a couple in between. I really liked it because it forced you to stay regimented, and it was kind of cool to see what your body could do depending on the factors that you put on it. So okay. I thought it was an interesting thing to do. I wouldn't recommend it on long term. It was cool to try it and see, what your body can do. And it was good to also stay disciplined in a particular area and not let anything get in the way of that. So sometimes life gets in the way. So it was kind of cool to be able to keep that focus.
So how did you even kind of start to explore that? Did someone that you knew doing it, or you were just like kind of interested in it from afar?
So there was a gym that I taught classes at and did training at, and bodybuilding shows were a big deal there. We had a lot of people that were involved in it. So it was just kind of like an offhand, hey, you want to try it? And I was like, well, what's the worst that can happen? I, kind of get in good shape, and, doesn't matter if I win or not, I'm still going to work the next day. So it was just, I kind of just fell into it a little bit, I guess. And then it did help you like hone your training and hone your, your weightlifting information and what you're learning, to see what your body will do and what, as opposed to a training program that somebody else would do, because a lot of times back then it was, you just very piecemeal. It wasn't, you had your days of specific exercises, but it was a little bit more piecemeal. So it was kind of learning how to put all that together. So it was, I think it was more because of the gym that everybody did it there. So it was like, hey, why not?
That's awesome.
It was fun. I can say that.
What's that?
It wasn't fun when you were doing it. It definitely was not. But after, it was good. It was worth it.
Did you like grow up playing any sports or anything, or was that kind of your first big introduction to like regimented weight training?
I did track for a little bit, like cross country, and I did, I was actually like a pirate. So I was like a pom-pom girl. I did that. And I was at the end of the line. I was the small end of the line. I did that, but I wouldn't say I was very athletic. I wouldn't say I had done a lot of exercise before that. Kind of got into exercise when I was engaged, and I wanted to lose weight for my And that was
Right.
kind of where it started. And, you know, I used to take a lot of classes. And then one day the owner of the studio that I was at said, our instructor is out and you're always in the front of what you're doing. So will you teach classes?
Oh,
So
wow.
it was so nerve-wracking, but it was great. So after I did that, I went and got certified. And then after that, I just kind of I like to learn. So I kept trying different things. Like I did spin and I did aqua and, you know, just kept building on that. So it was really like after college and stuff that I kind of got into it.
Okay. That's awesome. Well, and like RP, Dr. Mike Israetel talks about that a lot, that really like the best window, if you can, to start lifting weights is basically between 15 and 30, which is a really big range.
Sure.
So I think that's pretty cool that, you know, even if someone starts lifting weights later, like they're still going to have really good results, at least for the first 5 years and potentially the first 10 years. Even if they're starting closer to 30, or even if they start in their 40s or 50s, they're still going to build some hypertrophy, which is cool.
It was kind of interesting. They did have, there were a lot of men, especially on the men's end, in the bodybuilding shows, that there were guys that were 60 years old that, you know, had done a few shows before, but were still able to get that hypertrophy and get up on stage and, you know, it was like an impressive showing. Like it was a neat thing.
That's always inspiring. I have never been on stage. I don't know if I'll ever do that, but when we worked at Equinox, this would have been like around 2010 is when I started there. So there were some other folks that we worked with who did shows a lot, male and female. And it was just awesome to watch them kind of build up. And we went to see one of their shows because I think it was in New Jersey and we were in New York City, so it wasn't that far. But like you said, the showing of people from age 18 to 65 and some older than 65 was really awesome, really inspiring.
Yeah, it really can be. They get up on stage, you can see their process by the time, you know, you can see all the work they've done for whether it was 6 months or a year, you know, because everybody was different. So, you know, some people trained. I mean, when I was doing shows, I trained for like a whole year. My body was not, it wasn't very responsive. So, you know, my coach would give me my diet and he would say, usually you would get a cheat meal a week. After the first week, he was like, no more, you're done. No more cheat. No.
Just got to focus.
Yep. Cheated till the end, you know, they got a cheat meal, but my body didn't respond that well. So
that's what I was there for. Like one of my girlfriends was doing the shows and I would be like the person who after the show, I'd be like, let's go out and get a drink now. So that was usually my role in the process. Very important.
Yeah, wingman, very, very important because there are snacks that you haven't had for a year and they make you happy. So that was the best role.
There's a place, I don't know if it still exists. I mean, I still see their products in the stores, but in New York City, the Peanut Butter and Co. store, I remember she was really into different peanut butters and we went there after and they have, you know, the strangest flavors you could think of, but also like your more common ones. And I remember she got this big peanut butter sandwich. So it was cool.
It's fun. And funny, one thing that you've kind of deprived yourself up for a whole year, that's what you want to get at the end.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, it was a lot of fun. But you'd put 10 pounds on in one day, but.
We don't talk about that. Not that. And Miss Nikkii over here. I know. Hello. Thank you very much for taking the time today. I know you've had a little head cold the last week or so, but I wanted you to kind of share with us your background into how you got into kettlebells, how you met Lisa originally. So can you share with us just share with us your last couple years of your journey?
Okay, so as you can tell from anyone who doesn't know me, I'm from here. I'm from the UK originally. I've lived here for 16 years now. And when I first moved here, I lived at Avalon Gardens, which is an apartment place. And I couldn't work for the first 2 years because I didn't have a work visa. It was
Oh,
only supposed to be for my husband. So sitting on the sofa and drinking lots of Starbucks, I gained a little bit of weight, quite a lot of weight. So I decided that I needed to work out. And so I went to Premier Fitness and I needed a little trainer and I got a little trainer. That's how I met Lisa. So we
that's
trained
amazing. I don't even think I knew that.
yeah, and then so I trained with her. I know it wasn't for very long, and then Avalon Gardens had a gym, and I was like, well, I can just go and work out in the gym; it'd be fine. And then so I sort of did that, and then what happened next? Oh, and then I ended up working at a gym, Body Bank Fitness. It is in New City, which Lisa came to for an interview. And I'm sat across, I'm interviewing, and I'm like, I know you from somewhere. And then it clicked. I'm like, you used to train me. And then we were like, oh my God. And then ever since then, we're back to being unicorns. So like, she's my best bud.
That's right.
Yep.
Wow, I had no idea that you had met before. I thought you met at Body Bank for some reason.
No. So it was very, very surreal because we were like, she looked totally different from when I saw her before. When I first met her, she had longer hair, and I can't remember what color it was then. I think it may have been red, but she looked totally different when she came into Body Bank, and it was just like talking to her. I was like, I do know you from somewhere. So, and then we eventually figured it out.
Wow. So what was your role at the gym there?
So I was technically gym manager, and corralled a lot of the trainers.
They did everything. Nikkii
Yeah,
did
pretty much. I was like, I don't know if you have this saying over here, but it's general dog's body. In England, you would say, I'm a general dog's body. So that means you did everything. Like I corralled front desk staff, I
Okay.
cleaned, I literally, did everything. So
That's an important job. Someone who could like really mold into all the different things that are needed.
yes, like big sister to certain people.
Oh. So then was it there that you first swung a kettlebell, or how did that happen?
Ooh, now, so I trained there with Mike Reedy, and Lisa trained with him as well. And he was doing his Strong First certification, and he really got us into kettlebells. Sort of like started us off. Couldn't swing I don't know, 10 kilogram at that point, probably. It was like, oh, this is a bit scary. And then unfortunately he left. So Lisa and I continued on our own, sort of. We did not too much kettlebells, I don't think, did we really? And then unfortunately I got sick. So I ended up having to get off work, and I had leukemia. So I ended up not training for about 5 years, I think it was 4 or 5 years. And then I decided that I had lost all my strength, all my muscle tone. I couldn't do anything. Walking up the stairs even was hard work. So I decided that I needed to do something. And I didn't really want to go back to the gym because there was too many people. I had to be very careful still about being around too many people.
Mhm.
So that's when I found you and Patrick online.
That's crazy. So how far out were you from the bone marrow transplant when we first met?
I think, how long have I been training with you now? Like 2.5 years. So probably 2 years, maybe, I think.
Okay.
It all sort of blurs into one. So yeah, I think about 2.5 years. maybe of not really doing anything. I mean, I
Okay.
tried to go back to the gym a little bit with Lisa, but I think I went back a bit too soon and I couldn't really get on with anything. So, and then when I came in to see you and Patrick, and bless poor old Patrick had me, he had to do my interview. So yeah, he had to put up with the crying. I can't do anything, like walk up the stairs and stuff. And then that was it. Found you.
Well, I
What-
imagine that was tough because obviously being sick is very hard, and you were someone that was pretty active before. And didn't you do Spartan races or things like that?
Yeah, literally, I used to do a lot of Spartan races. My last Spartan race, I think, was a beast, and that's probably like 14 to 16 miles. And that's the first time I've ever had to give up. But that was about 4 or 5 weeks before I got diagnosed. So
Wow.
I was a little like, hey, I was normally leader of the pack, come on, let's go. And then I was falling further and further behind. And I just thought, oh, I'm getting old. I'm older than everybody else. So it's bound to happen. I get slower and slower. And then it was literally like, well, no, you can't actually do this. So that's what.
That was the biggest red flag. You were just so tired all the time.
I was tired. And then the big red flag was I got hives, but I thought that it was from renovating the house because we were doing a big renovation. And I thought I was allergic to the dust and everything. So I went to see a few doctors, like from one to the other, and then the immunologist said that I really should go and get my blood tested or see a blood specialist. And they did a couple of tests and ruled out a lot of things like lupus and lots of autoimmune diseases. And then he did a bone marrow biopsy, and he said, don't worry, you don't have leukemia, but you have this, which is a pre-leukemic thing. So he sent me to see a specialist. I saw her like within 2 weeks, and then she did a test again because she didn't really trust she wanted her own people to do the test. So we did the test, and then we went in, and that was December the 8th, 2016, I think it was. That was the day that she told me that I had leukemia. So and that's when she said, oh, you need to come in. And I was like, no, we can wait until after Christmas. My son's coming and I want to have Christmas. And she was like, oh no, you need to be in like in a couple of days. So that's when I literally started. I went in. So.
Oh my goodness. And then we met, I guess, September 2019.
Yeah.
So that's pretty soon after. I mean, if that was the initial diagnosis.
Yeah, I got my bone marrow transplant in August of 2017, and then I had a couple of top-ups like in January, and I think it was March the following year. So yeah, it was probably about 2 years since, and then I came to see you.
Wow. So you'll be almost 5 this summer.
Almost 5.
How does it feel to go back to kindergarten?
It's not as much fun. Kindergarten was fun. You didn't have any worries. That you didn't have to do anything. You just like went home, played, snacks, had friends, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Living the life.
Living the life.
So then, Lisa, did you and Nikkii stay in touch over those couple years, or how did you guys come back together?
Oh yeah, we once we kind of clicked back together at Body Bank, we were together all the time, and we did a lot of training together. And she reluctantly got me into some Spartan races and some trail. How we lasted through those things, because I was so miserable, I can't even tell you. It was. We went to one Spartan race at City Field. It was my first one. And the first event, you had to climb over a 5-foot wall, and I'm 4'10" and a quarter. I was like, I can't even start the race. What do I do? I don't know.
I'm out. See you later.
They had us go into a parking lot, and we had to climb this, like, it had to be 10 or 12 foot wall. I'm like, okay, catching me on the other side. Like I couldn't even reach a lot of the things, you know. But we got through the whole. We get through the whole thing, and I was really very, very miserable. We got through the whole thing, and she's like, "Okay, so next weekend there's one at Sterling Forest. We can go do." I'm like, "Nope, nope." We did a trail race that was it was supposed to be a lot warmer, and it was freezing cold, and we're running through this whole thing, and she ran around. She was so good. She stayed with me. She ran around a corner, and she came back. She goes, "I'm very sorry," and then she ran away. I'm like, "What's she talking about?" And there was a stream that you had to jump in. You couldn't. There's no way to get over. She up to here, and she's taller than me, and I was like, I'm going to die here. I'm going to drown right here.
The end. This is how it's gonna go.
This is how I'm going. So we've had lots of adventures, and we've stayed close ever since then. So we're always trying to try something new, and you know, but the kettlebells, once we started on that, we've really stuck with that. We love it.
Oh, so I met Nikkii when we had the brick and mortar space, and then she brought you into the space kind of at one of our last events before COVID started. So then I guess it was a little while after, because I think you had first joined up with us during one of the Strong Moms, was it? Or maybe you did one of the summer IG Live programs. And then you started into your own kind of individual coaching, like what we do now with you guys. So what kind of sparked you, Lisa, to say, like, I want to take this to the next level and try for that level 1 kettlebell certification?
Well, I can honestly say that I believe I did start with one of your IG programs, and it was there was like high volume on swings, and as I was doing it, every day I felt like I was getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then I think I did Strong Moms after that, and again, it was the burst of strength that I had was amazing, you know. And I've been training, you know, since I was, you know, say 23, 24, but I didn't ever feel as strong as I felt doing the kettlebell stuff. And I did that. And I think I did kettle bosses too. I think I did that. And then after that, I was like, okay, I want this to be more individualized now. And I think I started to go that route. And again, I have, you know, I've been doing this a long time, and with all the bodybuilding shows and stuff like that, you know, I've had some shoulder labrum tears, I have bursitis, I have some other stuff, but I haven't really had to think about another surgery since I've been doing this, which is huge, because when you go to the doctor, they're like, oh yeah, we'll just go in there, and, you know, they say they're going to clean it up, but they're doing surgery. It's not just not like they're going to wipe it down and it's going to be good. You know, they make it sound, but you know, so I haven't had, my shoulder's been really strong, and I feel like it's been really strong. So I don't know, we had been talking about the Strong First cert, and like to do a different cert every year or every couple of years, just to kind of keep my education up and to learn new things, because there's some new things out there. But it just really stuck with me, and I also wanted to see if I could do it. I mean, you know, I'm 56, so, you know, I wanted to see if I could do it, and, you know, it was a good challenge for me. Like, I felt like I really it was more of a challenge than any other cert I've ever taken, because, you know, with some of the other certs, you just take a test, you read and you take a test, and, you know, you pass, or you don't necessarily have to do any of the things that they give you. I mean, if you do them, great, but, you know, it's like there's some trainers that can get a cert in a weekend online, but they never dumbbell or anything. So I really felt like this cert was really important, and it was really different, because if you couldn't do it, you can't train somebody else to do it.
Right.
So, but that was really important with this cert.
You guys both passed with flying colors. So was so amazing to watch. I got to be there for both of your certs, which was like the most exciting thing. Like Lisa's was in Florida, and I had the opportunity to assist at that certification, so I could be there, even though I couldn't judge you myself. Conflict of interest. And then Nikkii, we were there in Chicago as students in the bodyweight cert, but I was there looking across the dome at you during all of your testing. And maybe both of you guys can kind of chime in just about how you felt leading up to it. Did you feel prepared with your strength and conditioning work, and kind of what that process was like for you guys?
I think I felt I was very nervous. I'm not very good at taking tests and stuff like that. But with both of you, I knew that in my heart I knew I could do it. But it's just that the actual getting up and doing it in front of other people, and not wanting to let you down. I'm gonna cry now. That's stupid.
You would never let us down.
That's so stupid. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm not normally this emotional. I don't know. I needed to know that I could do
An
it.
emotional weekend,
It was a very emotional weekend. I needed to know that I could do it because A, my unicorn did it, and and B, I wanted to know that I was that strong that I could do it.
Yeah, from just a couple years ago, you've added 25, 27 pounds of muscle. And
yeah, I don't know where it is. It's hidden right now, but it is there.
That alone is an amazing feat. But also, like you said, to be able to pass that certification, which, if someone isn't very familiar with it, it's a lot of skill work and strength work with the kettlebells, but also the snatch test is really the kicker for most people. Doing 100 snatches under 5 minutes with a set weight is no joke. So really being able to demonstrate that you guys have the strength and skill in combination with the conditioning is a huge feat. And I'm so proud of you guys because you killed it.
Can you cut out the emotional bit? Because I had an ugly crying face then.
You did not. I'll see what kind of editing software I have, which is none. But it's good. It's the true feeling about it. And I think that's what keeps us coming back to it. Whether it be like renewing our certifications or getting ones that we don't have, or just trying to make ourselves better. Because I was saying this the other day, is like, there's nothing more rewarding than like kicking your own ass of 5 years ago or 10 years ago and just being like, I could crush that person now. And I think that is so rewarding because there's a lot of information out there that says like every passing year is just gonna be a decline, and that's really not true. Maybe if you're someone who was deadlifting 500 pounds when you were 20 years old, 25 years old, and then at 75 you can only deadlift 300 pounds. I mean, that's still really amazing. Like, how many other 75-year-olds are in that category? So I think it's a true test to watch you guys continue to train year over year, and both of you have gotten stronger, like a lot exponentially stronger since I've known both of you guys. And that's just really cool to see what happens when you continually push yourself, but also just like stick to the plan and execute it. It's really cool.
I also think too that at 20, you can do a lot of stuff differently because you're 20. So you don't need as much sleep. You don't need the proper food. You don't need, warm-ups. You don't need any of those things. But I think if you get older, you realize how much that stuff affects your training. And, it does help you train smarter because, then you're not replacing parts at
Right.
50,
Right.
and I think the kids today are a little smarter than we were back in the day. I mean, you guys are both younger than me, but, warm-ups, people didn't do warm-ups. They didn't stretch. They just kind of went at the bar and did whatever they were going to do. So I think even the breathing, I think it all in the strong first cert. And what you guys do is you train us to be better in our everyday too, because posture is better and your breathing is better. And, you think about your sleep and you think about what you're eating, it's kind of like a whole lifestyle thing. It's not just training for that cert. Like when I did for the bodybuilding, it was pretty much just for that. That's what it was. This is more training for real life, and how you move and what you do in real life, So I think that makes a big difference too.
A more kind of holistic approach or all-encompassing approach. But that's cool. I agree how, when you're in your early 20s, and I'm not like old, I'm not saying I'm old, but closer to 40 than I was a couple of years ago. So I've definitely noticed that similar effect where it's like, okay, need to make sure that I'm doing my cars, need to make sure that I take 10 minutes to do some rowing before I just jump right into it. Whereas when I first started as a personal trainer and I was 23, 24 years old, I could, go to bed super late, get there at 5 a.m., train clients, still do my workout. And I mean, I don't think that was enjoyable even at the time, but like I could still get through it. And now it's like, you're just a little bit more mindful of all the things that go together. And I think that's why our programming really works, like with ourselves and with you guys, is because it really helps like manage all of that stress that's going on in our lives and still allows us to participate multiple times a week, but not feel like we're paying for it all the time.
Right.
Yeah, you've definitely changed my mindset about training, because it used to be if you didn't hurt the next day, then you obviously didn't train hard enough, or or you were out for a couple of days. Whereas now I can train 5 or 6 days a week and I feel great.
Yay. I know you've come a long way, Nikkii, from challenging the rest period to now you respect the rest and do the dice roll instead of maximum amount every time. Like you're a model student.
I'm becoming a model student. I may break the rules occasionally, but
Even her too, training light on her light days. That was always a challenge, but now she's doing it, it does make a difference.
Yeah. Well, and when you go through enough waves, you start to appreciate those light volume weeks because one's coming that is not going to feel like that.
I'm learning to like the light weeks. I'm still not quite there yet.
I had crazy busy day yesterday. It was one of those days where I was like, if I get one extra red light, I'm going to be late and it's going to trickle into the rest of my day. And somehow it just all managed to work out. So I finished about 7:30 last night and I was like, oh, do I train today? Do I not train today? I don't know. And I looked down and on my template 10, I could do 11 minutes my week. So for my week 4, it was 11 minutes or 16 minutes. And I was like, the kettlebell gods had mercy on me today. And even after my whole day, but I was still able to get it in. You're like, somehow I would have been like, I can't do this today. But I was still able to get it in even after like a 12, 14-hour day of work. So
that's amazing.
But it doesn't have time like that. But that the gods shined on me. So
that's awesome. Yeah, it helps when you can look ahead at your plan. And we set it out in the 4-week blocks, but sometimes you can swap a week if you need to. If you're like, okay, I know next week's my high volume week, but it's just going to be too crazy, so I'm going to move that whole week and do it this week. Or if you're within a week, you can sometimes flip days around. So there is flexibility, even though the volume and intensity is pretty set. So hopefully it continues to work within your lives, even though you guys are both doing a lot. So I wanted to ask kind of both of you guys, what's next for your goals? What do you think?
Okay,
Doesn't
let
have
me
to be
tell-
tomorrow, but next
Let me
6
tell
to
you
12
about
months.
the what next question. So I had literally just passed, and I think I was laying in the bed in the hotel room. Lisa was in the other bed, and she turned to me and she said, "So, what are we doing next?"
You're like still sweaty.
And I'm still literally I think I'd had a shower and and I was just in a towel, just lying, like, arms and legs out, like, okay, nothing wants to move. And that was her first question. And then my mum as well. My mum congratulated me. She's, "So what one are you doing next?"
See,
I'm like,
we're all waiting for your
Yeah.
answer.
I need a little breather. But I don't know, maybe level 2 if Lisa does it.
What
If
do you think,
Lisa does.
Lisa?
You knew I was game for that. You knew I was game. The
Or you
look on
guys could do the barbell, sir. That's very within reach already for both of you guys.
Oh, see, now, as soon as we get off the phone with you, we're going to call each other. We'll be discussing this.
Oh yeah.
We'll look up the dates.
Rick's got to be in the corner going like this. Oh, here we go, another cert. But
Too fun.
True.
It's nice to have a goal, but we don't have to have specific goals. We just keep on keeping on. But it's nice, to have something out there in the distance to work towards.
Yeah, maybe next year. Well,
One a year, one every 2 years. That's a great goal.
yeah. Well, I think the two of us work well with goals. We like to have something to work towards. It kind of keeps us on track, and I think I had said this to you that if I didn't have the programming and if I wasn't working through, listen, I can do my own programming, but if I didn't have you guys doing that for me, I've been so busy lately that my training would probably be non-existent, which is, it's just a shame for me, but you guys have kept me focused on making sure that I don't take care of everybody else and not take care of myself.
Yeah. So
a big thing, because it can get very easy to get, oh, I won't do it today. Oh, I won't do it tomorrow. Oh, and then it's a month later and you haven't done anything. So
well,
it's really,
you have a very active day, so you have to be strong for everybody that you're seeing all day long.
it's true. I have to move their body. So if I'm not strong, then I'm going to get hurt and they're going to get better. And that's no place to be either.
Right. Oh, I'm so proud of you guys. So don't hang up just yet. I think we're going to end the recording part, but I want to talk to you guys after for a second. What would you guys' final note say to someone who's like maybe thinking about getting into kettlebells or just kind of like interested in moving their body more? What would be your piece of advice?
Just do it. Bite the bullet and just do it.
I agree.
Don't be nervous. They're not scary.
I feel like kettlebells offer the best mix of flexibility, mobility, stability, power, strength. I feel like you can get all of that in one piece of equipment, and with repetitive exercise, honing your skills. Strong First has a shirt that said workout across the front, and then that was crossed out and it says practice. And I think that that's a really great way to look and to approach your training, because each time you practice it, you get better. And I think you just have to, once you feel it and you feel that feeling of how strong you can be with a kettlebell, it's something that nothing else does.
Yeah.
You
I love
know,
that.
Whole thing. I have a little girl that I train that has, she's the fourth kid, and she's very shy and she's very introverted. And we started working together and we've been doing kettlebells. And when I tell you, this kid was like, from the first time she swung a kettlebell, her form was great. Like, she just picked it up very quickly. And I said to her, I said, "You're a beast." I was like, I was so amazed. And her dad texted me the next day. He said she was so excited. She came home. She said, "You called her beast." And she was so excited, and it just sparked so much in her, which, was a really cool, and it was the kettlebells did it. So it was really neat.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing what, that was kind of part of our original mission statement, if you will, which was like inspiring movement confidence, and what that can really do for someone, both within their training, but in the rest of their life. So that's a really great story.
It's a big deal.
Aw. Well, thank you ladies again for chatting today. I had so much fun. I learned new things about both of you. So that's really cool. And I look forward to helping you with your next goals. I'm excited. We'll map it out.
Uh-oh, what have we done?
All right, ladies, I'm going to push pause, but stay here. All right. Thanks, guys.
That was awesome. That was great.